So today we're going to be making some custom door pods for a sedan I'm working on. I don't know, everyone always wants a tutorial on how to do fiberglass work, so I figured I'd give it my best shot to help y'all out. So we're going to be fitting 4 6.5s. We're only going to be doing one tweeter. This one is not going to clear the door. And so my first step is what I'm going to do is trace out the holes, which I've already done, into the door panel. You'll take a Dremel reciprocating saw or a jigsaw and just cut these holes out so we have the clearance to solder everything in after. And I'll catch you on the flip side of that. So I'm gonna use a drill, and I'm gonna drill out some holes to where basically some checkpoints, so as I'm cutting around I know I need to get straight to that hole. And so I'm gonna be using cheap little Dremel from Harbor Freight. I picked it up for 10 bucks this Black Friday. So let's get to it. We got finished with cutting the holes. As you can see, we still got a little bit of rounding off to do right there. But the main part is you can see right through here, so we can solder to the back of the drivers. We took out one of the core supports for the door frame, but we're just gonna put a wooden dowel in there, and in the end we'll be sound deadening everything. So it should be crystal clear. The next part is we're gonna be measuring this distance here. And pretty much every place there's a gap, we're gonna measure that, and so we can cut a dowel, hot glue it in, and have a brace for when we do the fiberglassing. And every single dowel length you cut, the most important part is to duplicate that, so when you're doing the other door, it's the exact same. All right, so we got this whole thing glued, screwed. It's not going anywhere. But now the big thing is to get the bracing so this door is still strong. So we got this back pad right here I left in. I could have cut straight through. So we're gonna measure it out, grab a dowel, and we're gonna go straight from the back of the door into this wood. And we're gonna make it a little longer than we need to, so it pushes out, gives it that extra support. And for this tweeter, we're gonna run dowel back here, get that right length we need. If I feel the need to, I'll put a third one in here, but the fiberglass is gonna give it that strength that we need. We have our general shape. I mean, it wouldn't go anywhere anyways, but you know, this is unfinished. So we're gonna be using this cloth. It's called grill cloth. Bought off Amazon. It was like, I think it was $8 for all of this. The color doesn't matter because you'll be painting over it anyways, but makes this cloth special is it's real light and it has a 4-way stretch to it. So when you're laying fiberglass over this, like, you can stretch it, contort it, and get that shape just the way you want. So we'll be putting this over the whole baffle onto the door. We'll be securing it in, and we'll be using fiberglass resin to harden it and give it that original shape. And later we'll add some fiberglass mat and give it that strength. So it's the next morning. We let this cure overnight. It's got a nice shape to it. So today we're going to be glassing some mat down, and I'm out of resin, so I'm going to go run to the store. Haven't decided on a color yet, but I think I'll go just black, keep it all black with the rest of the car. It's been raining outside, rained all night, but we got a fan, and we're doing our best to get this thing knocked out this weekend. So we picked up some mat, got some resin back. The key is to just lay a little bit of resin and then almost sort of just like splotch the fiberglass mat into it and resin over top until you get it smooth, and that's what's going to give it the strength. Remember to always wear a mask, and when you're working with mat, this stuff is super itchy, so wear gloves if you want to, wear sleeves, but it's never going to come off your hands unless you wear gloves. That's the only way it's coming off. Always better to not be itchy than be itchy for the next week. So I'll catch you on the flip side. Another quick thing to note is that it is raining outside. We want to make sure this dries in a timely manner, so put a little extra hardener in there with the resin and you should be in good shape still. Alright, so we just wrapped up our first layer of mat. There should be enough for this job. I mean, this thing it's going to be rock solid. So we're going to let this cure probably, I mean, with the rain, I put extra hardener, it might still take 12, 18 hours maybe. After that, we're going to knock it down with some 60 grit sandpaper, try and smooth it out a bit. And we're gonna cut out the speaker baffles. We're gonna cut out around the extra mesh we got that ain't fully tied down, and we should be good to go. We'll start putting some Bondo on it. I might do some Rondo, not sure. If I do Rondo, I'll show you how to make it. We'll get to it. So everything's hardened up, rock solid. I mean, this is is all one door panel. So today we're going to be cutting out the speaker rings and trimming up any extra fabric that's on the side so we can run some, knock it down with 60 grit. Might go down to 100 grit, and then we're going to fill it up with Bondo and smooth it out. So we got these rings cut out. We get them flushed out, so it'll be real nice when it looks in the car. We got the tweeter ring cut out. It's not perfect, but it's going to be completely covered. So the next step is to cover up some body filler, Bondo, whatever you want to call it. We're basically going to smooth out. We're going to fill in this gap right here so it's flush up with the other trim panel on the door. We're trying to smooth out this whole back end, so when we sand it down, it's going to be perfectly smooth, and we paint it, it's going to be, should be pretty good looking. So we'll get to it. The Bondo hardening up. We're going to do another coat after. Especially I got one dip here I just completely missed. And that's the nature of this stuff. You don't really catch it until after you dry it. But now we're going to work on to reinforcing the back side of the panel. So if we cut it out, we got quite a few gaps. We got a gap in there, we got a gap in there, we got a gap here, we got a gap above the tweeter panel, and you can fiberglass it, or the easy way is to mask it off with some tape and then just throw in some spray foam. I got this at Walmart for, it was $4 a can. The name brand stuff was 12 bucks, not really worth it for me. So we're gonna go in and just mask off every section, and you're gonna put a lot less spray foam in there than you think, because it expands a crap ton. So we're gonna mask it off, fill it up, and that's gonna make it to where there's no flex at all. I mean, it's already rock solid, but it's gonna help with overall sound quality, and that's what we want. Spray foam. The biggest thing is this stuff is gross when it gets wet. You got to let it fully dry and then just take like a bread knife, serrated knife, and just cut it off. Don't mess with it while it's wet. It's going to go everywhere. It's always better to have foam oozing out than foam pushing panels apart. So this will probably take all night to dry, but in the meantime, I'm going to show you how to make Rondo. We'll put over, this is smooth. This is real nice right here, but we want to finish up, fill up all these little holes from the grill cloth at the beginning. So we have it sanded down already. I'm going to do another quick little pass with 80 grit. I just do it all by hand. And how you make Rondo is you take resin and Bondo, and I'll put it in a disposable cup, and you want to go sort of 50-50 with the mixture, and it's going to give you like a real slimy putty that you can just almost paint on, and it'll really help you in these areas like this where you just got a bunch of uneven spots, because it'll really just like leak in and penetrate, and it's what you want when you're trying to get smooth fiberglass. So let's get to it. We got that Rondo drying, spray foam drying. We'll probably pick it back up tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe even tomorrow night. Just give it a nice solid time to cure before we sand everything down, and give it a nice paint up, and it should be good to go back in the car. We'll be waiting on the speakers to come in. We have 4 Timpano Pro 6.5s and the Timpano Pro ST2s. These I'll be running off a Teramps HD 3K. This will be off a Teramps 400.4. 1 on each door, 1 in each dash, 4 in each door. We should be bumping. It's the next afternoon. Foam's all dried up. It's a brick wall. It's not going anywhere until the car crashes. We got a serrated knife. Gonna cut out all the spray foam, make sure we can still get those speakers in, and then we're gonna sand down this Rondo, get it nice and smooth, and prep it up for paint. Well, my phone died on the last recording, but we masked up. You might be saying, why are you masking with duct tape? Well, I have free access to duct tape, and painter's tape is like $8 a roll right now. It's kind of ridiculous. So masked up the top. I want to get a little bit of a transition into the leather up here. Down here we got some tape over the courtesy light. I went for sort of a rough finish. It's like I think it's called Flex Seal rubber coat. And I think I'm gonna splatter paint it white afterwards. Just thinking of a good time to do that. So let this dry up, and it's starting to really come together. We just need those mids to come in the mail. Go work on a harness and throw it all in.